Well, recent data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics indicates that job seekers are becoming increasingly frustrated with their search for employment. There is also strong evidence to suggest that the way people work is changing and becoming more temporary and less formal. One company that has found an opportunity in this shift is Airtasker, which aims to take advantage of the emerging task economy and collaborative consumption. To find out exactly what this is, I spoke earlier to Tim Fong, CEO with Airtasker. Tim Fong, welcome to the program.
Morning, Whitney.
So, for the uninitiated, what is this thing called the task economy? And also, there's a term that's collaborative consumption. Can you just define those for us?
Sure. So collaborative consumption in the task economy is all about connecting individuals together so that they can trade or share things. So collaborative consumption can cross anything from a house, so renting out your house to someone else, cars, sharing your car with other people, or in our case, labour and free time that you're sharing. So your available time, you're able to share that with someone else and get the job done.
So can you just take us through, your company's called Airtasker, take us through the services that you offer?
So Airtasker allows anyone to post up any type of task that they need done around the home or office. That allows us to facilitate a lot of regular transactions, things like house cleaning, things like furniture assembly, or helping moving house, but also a lot of things that aren't currently jobs. For example, we had a man post up the other day who was blind and wanted someone to walk him over to the Apple store. So suddenly we created a job out of someone's spare time.
So how does, I guess, Airtasker differ from, say, community billboards where you've seen sort of people put, like, Craigslist, those sorts of things? How does Airtasker differ from that?
So one of the really great things about collaborative consumption and the new internet is that people's profiles are now on the internet through things like Facebook and LinkedIn and all these profile information that they have. And that allows us to create safe and trusted transactions between people. So you may have heard that, on Craigslist, you're often meeting some strange and funny people. What Airtasker allows you to do is create that profile. And when you do jobs, earn reviews and feedback so that you can create the same economy as in the outside world on the internet.
So what are the types of jobs, aside from things like, somebody needing assistance to go shopping, what are the other types of jobs that you're seeing crop up on your site?
When we first started the site, we imagined it would be for these really small jobs, like, go and get me a coffee, or, maybe scrub my shoes or something like that. What we've noticed is that the average price of a job is actually around $80 to $100, and they're actually quite skilled, many of them. So it's often things, conventional skills like HTML coding, helping to promote something at a trade fair or something like that. On top of that, we also see a lot of small businesses using Airtasker as well as individuals. So often people who have their own small business, they don't have time to hire a full-time guy to do X or a part-time guy to do Y. They just need something small done, and that's where we've been able to help a lot.
And who decides what price is put on the job? I mean, someone who needs help, walking to Apple, how would you, what kind of price would you put on that? It's quite up in the air.
We provide a lot of guidance around that on the website, but it's really up to you. So really, it allows you to value how much you think a service is worth. But all of our Airtaskers are trained and know that they can make an offer for a price that's either higher or lower. So
you can negotiate.
Absolutely. It's all blind negotiation, so it's just between you and the person who posted. It's not public information, but it allows you to come to a fair agreement with the right person to do your job.
Now, this is a question that I'm sure a lot of people watching this would want to know. What are the tax ramifications with this? Because I'd imagine it's just, cash exchanging hands.
Sure. Again, it's like it's exactly treated the same way as eBay is. So we provide you with all that transaction history and all the data that you need to go and do the correct taxes. But it's really up to every individual person to know what the tax implications are. And I can say that in many of the categories that Airtasker helps people earn money through are not considered taxable things. For example, if you were to go and knit someone a jumper and you're not a professional at that, that's really a hobby that you're earning some money off. So we tend to think of it as the same as your auntie paying you $100 to help you mow the lawn when you're a young boy.
It's a very unique idea. How did you identify a gap in the market for it?
Well, Jonathan Louis, my co-founder, and I were living in an apartment, and we were moving houses, and we had so many things that we needed done. We needed someone to clean the old apartment that we were in. We needed to have someone clean the new apartment, open up boxes, close boxes, and of course assemble IKEA furniture. And so
which is always a challenge for anyone.
It's a terrible job. It really is. And well, for me it is anyway. So Jonathan and I, we called on our mates to help us out, and Jonathan called his cousin, and we knew that they were really annoyed when we asked them to do this kind of thing. We bought them a case of beer, but they weren't happy with that.
It doesn't cut it anymore.
It doesn't,
I think.
no. And at the same time, all these university students and people that we knew were saying, look, I'd love to do these jobs if I could earn $50, $100 for a day of work. So we thought, why couldn't we just put these people together in a trusted environment?
Now, you've just recently done a deal with Career One, which is a massive classifieds, online classifieds employment site. How significant is this for Airtasker?
I think it's massive. Career One is one of the premier employment websites in Australia, and when they came to us, they were telling us that businesses and all the people that were advertising on Career One were shouting out for a way to be able to communicate with people for shorter term jobs. They didn't want to pay hundreds of dollars to recruiters to put up ads and go through all this laborious process. And when they looked at our platform, they really saw a way to be able to connect these people in a very automated, very simple way, so that you could hire someone in minutes instead of hours. Instead of days. And they were seeing that the unemployment rate, it's quoted at 5%. The reality is it's actually up around 13%. People aren't finding enough work for them to do. So they wanted to provide an outlet for that, and we're super excited to be doing Airtasker in a really big user environment.
And you have plans to expand internationally. What particular countries, markets are you looking at?
We're looking at a range of regions at the moment and doing all the analysis and the research. We're obviously looking at Asia, which is super exciting because there's so many people. Singapore is amazing. It's obviously the regional hub, but also one that when we spoke to some financiers over in Asia, we're saying Japan would be an amazing place just because the service culture is so good and they love to do these services for people and they take a lot of pride in that sort of stuff. So there's a weighting between sort of population, the differences in wages, and also the service culture.
Tim Fong, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Whitney.